So what do you do instead? Well, you have to talk to your wife, and this is very annoying. You have to talk to your wife at least 90 minutes a week about how the domestic economy is progressing. Just the details. Is the house in order? What rooms need to be fixed? What needs to be cleaned up? What jobs need to be done? How the kids are doing? What practical things have to be taken care of? Who's going to take care of it? In what order? How is that going to be done happily through joint negotiation? You need to have a board meeting once a week for 90 minutes. And if you think, well, I don't have time for that, it's like, fine, try not doing it. And then in 10 years, you'll be divorced. And then that will take half your money because you'll pay the lawyers, and it will take half your time for like 10 years. And it'll be like having cancer. So maybe you don't have time, and maybe you do. And so 90 minutes, you need that. You got to talk through the details of your life. And you probably have to clear most of that up before you can have an adventure on the intimacy front. And then you might say, well, how often should that occur? And we'll say, well, you're an adult and you know you've got other demands on your time. And so maybe once a week if you're really pushed, and maybe 3 times a week if you're really fortunate, and maybe you can settle on or aspire to twice. So you have 2 dates, and how long should they last? Well, how about 4 hours? And how much time should you put into it? Well, how about at least as much time as you would put in to having a date with someone that you were thrilled to have a date with if you were pursuing? And you think, well, I can't do that with my wife. It's like, well, try a little harder. Like, actually try. And the wife thinks, well, I'm not in the mood. It's like, get in the mood. Get in the mood. This isn't optional. If you want to have a sustainable sex life across, an intimate life across the span of your life, it's like, you got to put some effort into it. This isn't nothing. And to attain that mystical union that can characterize sex at its best, you're going to bloody well become an expert at it. You're going to have to put in some effort. This isn't something that you just fall into like you fall into a pit. This is expert work, and you can get better and better and better at it. And so you got to put aside 3 to 4 hours, let's say. And what do? Well, what do people do when they have a date? Have dinner. Go out to a restaurant if you want, or have dinner at home and figure out who's going to cook and who's going to serve and try to make it pleasant. And then, well, what else can you do? Dance. Learn to dance. I don't dance. It's like, that's a hell of a thing to say, man. Because every social interaction is a dance. And you're not going to dance with your wife. Do you know what? That's foreplay. It's like, I don't engage in foreplay. It's like, well, why not? Well, obviously, because you're no bloody good at it. Obviously, that's why. Because if you were good at it, believe me, you'd be engaging in it. And so you can dance. And I saw this great video of my father-in-law dancing. He's 90. And he's barely standing up now, you know, and one of his caretakers, good woman who's in his house with him, with his current wife, got him up to dance. And you know, he's 90 and he could dance. It's like, hooray. And so maybe you could dance for the rest of your life with the woman that you love in your peaceful walled garden. If you had any sense and you weren't like hemming yourself in with these conceptions of who you can't be. I can't dance. I don't need to date my wife. You know, I'm saying this with some degree of shame too, because when my wife originally proposed, when we had small kids, that we have a date once a week or twice a week, you know, I was cynical about it right off the bat. And that was so stupid, man. I almost missed a major league opportunity there. Because I thought the typical, you know, cliched rants of idiocy. I thought, well, you know, we're married. We don't need that. It's foolish or it's beneath me, or it'll take all the spontaneity out of it. So that's what I wanted. I wanted perfect, spontaneous sex. That's what I was going for. Like right off the bat. I didn't think were there any like, you know, incremental steps towards that. It's like, it's not perfect, spontaneous sex. I'll have none of it. It's like, Woody Allen was smarter than that. He said, sex is good even when it's terrible, it's good. It's like, so, you know, don't wait around for perfection. And so I did overcome that pretty quickly, and we started practicing having dates, usually twice a week, and usually for 3 or 4 hours. And that's definitely been like a highlight of our mutual existence. And